All right, crew, we back with part 3 of this. I hope you brought your Steeltoes series. This is American Hollow, 1999. We're going into the second half of this on this segment, and there's going to be a lot of things to talk about. So let's go. Oh, let's transition this so y'all can see it, and then we'll go.
I know one thing, we didn't say the prayer tonight. I'm pretty upset over it too.
What are you gonna say it or not?
What?
No. Well,
Bless the meat, damn the skin. Lay back both ears and cram it in.
amen.
Youngins, when I was raised up, we was lucky to have bread for supper. We'd pack milk all the way from Altamore Rices all the way to Pancoat for supper.
See what that Prozac does for you? See what them benzos do for you? Like, he's incoherent. He's not in his right mind.
Them was hard times.
Gee, I packed milk from Floyd Junior's all the way up here. 10 foot of snow on the ground. Found out it was right and had to go all the way
He wanted to smack that kid.
back.
You don't know what hard
Go all the
time
way
they is.
back and get more. What?
You don't know what hard time they is.
Apparently you don't live my life, do you?
There's some real genuine pain being expressed there. And it's brushed away and is ignored by both sides of the party. Both the abuser and the abusee, right? It's a mindset.
No, you got it made, good little woman. Well, when I was your age,
Here we go.
I wasn't
I'm tired
allowed.
about hearing about your age.
I wasn't allowed to bring my woman home without I married her.
You wasn't even home at my age.
Well, I've got 2 babies and fixing to get another one. Shirley Whirly.
Think the girl,
Because you're providing so well, right?
He don't need to get married.
the girl is in
If he
trouble.
ain't got a good job and
The girl's in trouble.
a home takes a woman too, he ain't got no use for her.
She don't look a day over 13, 14.
That's
does
what
she?
she said. She said she's 17. 17. She'll be 18.
Really, we're waiting till she's 18, actually. And a lot of these people was married or gone out of their house before they was even.
13.
Yeah, really.
That is still very much a reality in large portions of the country. We look at things like an adult marrying a child and we're like, wow, that is terrible. That is a pedophilic thing. But a large chunk of the country looks the other way when it's a 17 and a 14-year-old getting married, right? They're close in age. There's a reason we have the consent laws. Like, I was on the other end of this at one point, right? I was one of the people who were over-sexualized as a child. I've talked about my stuff plenty of times. I'm not going to get into that right now, but I do speak with some authority on this position. And, right?
A lot of them had kids before they was the age we're gonna get married at.
My mama was 14 when she got married. My dad was 19. And that situation's a little, like back then it wasn't that big of a deal. There wasn't as much known, but it's still kind of a big deal, right? Like, it's still kind of a big deal. But she was ready to go. Like, she was ready to be out of the situation that she was in.
My friends got married when they was in the 7th grade. They'd be like 12 and 13 years old, and they already got babies. And I guess that's how our culture is. And
She does look extremely young. She does not look like she's 17 waiting on 18.
get married when we're young, and Most of them have babies when some girls have babies when they're 12 years old. But, I do think that's kind of young to have a baby because, you're still a little baby when you're 12 years old. But if they're not going to have safe sex, then I guess that's what they get.
I know that without her, I can't make it.
And it's toxic. That statement right there is another one of the most toxic things we ever say. I love my wife dearly. She has pulled me out of the darkness more times than I even care to think about. But if she were to go home tomorrow, I would wait to go home with her when it was time. I'm not going to be, I don't see myself trying to date again just because I don't see a lot in the world that I care to spend my time with. And so that's not even really an option. I love my wife. We really, I think we're going to make it to 80 years old on a rocking chair somewhere. That's my goal. My goal is to stay with this good woman for the rest of my life. I love her greatly. But that level right there.
I know that without her, I can't make it.
Never allow that. Don't be the one it is being said about, and don't be the one saying it about someone else. Your value is in you. God made you fully and completely to strive towards Him. And whenever you give that power over to anything of this world, that you can't make it without that thing, then you are giving over your sovereignty from God. Don't do that. Don't be in a relationship where someone else's value relies upon you. And don't be in a relationship where your value relies upon someone else. That is toxic. It never works. You can live for 80 years in a toxic relationship and it didn't work. You just made it.
I can't. Without her to be there for me and to give me support like I need.
This little dirty bitch.
To calm me down when I'm mad. To hold me when I'm sad. No, that means a lot.
Must have been a bug. This right here, this is a man sincerely trying to show his affection, but this is the wrong way to go about that. And I know I'm stepping on a toe right here, but this over physicality, the touching and the needing to shock and all of that is a poor expression of that. It really is. It is better to have a conversation that is deep and meaningful than to pick up a grasshopper and try and put it on her, right? Or even this touching, this over touching. That is you failing to express something. That is not her. That is him. He has no outlet, no healthy outlet for his emotions. He doesn't know how to talk about them because everybody tells him to shut up. His daddy eats Prozac, so he doesn't deal with his depression from being injured. We haven't got into the injury yet, but that this is an unhealthy expression. And I want y'all to be able to recognize that. If you're doing this, it is unhealthy. You need to figure out where that's coming from. And do it before it turns violent, because that's what happens, right? You start friendly. You start just being nice. And you're trying to express this emotion physically. And then you can't express other emotions later, so you get physical. Recognize that you're trying to express something, that you're trying to say something. I don't know what he's trying to say, but I would think it is that he's not feeling like she is committed to this. I get that feeling from her. I've watched it. I know she's not. But I get that feeling from her. Well, the first time I watched it, I was like, oh, this bitch is not going to hang around. She's got another agenda. I don't know what it is, but she's got one. But what he's doing here, right? That's the part I want to bring attention to. Like, the other part is the toxicity between I must have you. That is another thing that turns violent most of the time. And so you need to watch these things. Recognize toxicity in yourself and in the people around you. And if it's your brother, right? Let him know too. Like, don't let him continue it. But see, you also saw that too with his dad, right? Well, this is the guy in the beginning. Dad, look at me. This is the same guy. And so he was doing the same thing with the physicality, not understanding how to express that. And that's where we have failed our children. That's where we, as a culture, have failed our children. I haven't. My children know how to talk, right? Even when it's uncomfortable. I visits her sister Marion, who lives down the road.
My sister lives over there. She is retarded, but she lives by herself and has for 29 years. When she was a little girl, there was a big old mulberry tree up here on this hill, and these rocks thrown in and hit they shook a rock out and it hit her on top of the head, and they never did take her to the doctor. And she's been like that ever since.
Y'all know why she got that machete, right? Because snakes.
Nay!
Like, she ain't cutting through the bush. There's snakes.
What you doing?
I'm playing hide and seek.
Huh?
I'm playing hide and seek.
Hide and seek.
Yes.
Well, you are cleaned up. Do you want to show him your little house?
I ain't got nothing here.
She really does. She's like, I don't have nothing in here to show. That's not healthy either, right? That's not humbleness, that's meekness. And yeah, she's got mental issues, right? I'm not going to say what she called her, but and that comes from a place of ignorance too. I even still sometimes say that word, though I try not to. It's just so ingrained that it's hard to stop, but I am making an effort. And so she has difficulties in learning. I've had several members of my family with that problem. My Uncle Danny never learned to read. He was a very simple man, but he was a very good man. And much like her. But that over meekness, right? That I don't have nothing. She's humbling herself so she doesn't get hurt.
Out to the cliff. We went out to the cliff. Yeah,
Oh, they went out. Maybe that's why she's got the machete.
it's cleaned out now. She lives in the dark house. Joni called and asked how you was doing. I told him that you was getting ready to put your garden out.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, you going to plant a garden, ain't you?
All right. Well, I'll try, but I don't know where I'll be able to work.
Last winter, she couldn't
She
cook.
helps me with the grocery to the house. Yeah, here I'm used to staying with myself, so.
It hurts me.
Yeah, here I'm used to staying with myself, so. I do love company.
She said, I do love company. I got 50 people of my family live right here. I'm used to staying by myself, so.
When her husband was leaving, he treated her real bad. See, when Marion,
Well, she had a man treat her like a worse than a dog.
Lord have mercy, he treated her in ways that he ought to have been killed for. He had no stick. He kept behind the...
Before we get into this next part, what she just said, I absolutely feel. There are people in my family who are still dealing with some of these issues, and it is entirely by choice because they have options available to them that some people don't. But like you can't change someone else's life necessarily. But in the case of someone with a mental deficiency, I'm not going to let them make that choice. That should have been chosen. Right? The guy on the hill should have taken care of that. They should have had a nice green spot in the garden for a while. And then life would go back to normal. One night in the middle of the night, shit just happens. Because the judicial system's not going to get involved in that in the way that it needs to be involved in that. Especially back then. Like, he's been dead for 29 years, and that was way back in the day when things should have been handled at home. But again, we have a father figure not being a father figure in the holler here. It's a mindset.
The door, and he called it Old Hector.
Oh, well.
He had no stick. He kept behind the door, and he called it Old Hector. And that's all.
You see his face over here?
All she talked about, Old Hector. He's waiting when I get home, Old Hector.
There's only certain times that man brightens up.
And nobody didn't think about him, hitting her with a stick, but he'd beat her with that stick. And then she'd say that he loved her.
Toxicity.
A man can't love a woman and treat her like that.
And that is the most truth you're going to hear out of that man. Like, I don't mean to disparage anybody, but there is a great amount of responsibility laid at the feet of a father. A great amount. That is why it's not a role that can be filled by somebody else, no matter how good their intentions. A father has to fill some spots. Teaching diligence is one of those things. And taking care of business is another one of those things.
I'm going back to the country. I can't pay the rent. No, I'm not completely broke. Brother, I'm badly bent. I can't understand where the money went. Well, I ain't broke, but badly bent.
I ain't broke, barely bent. Get him, Dwight. Irene's granddaughter Samantha has left her husband Jody and moved in with her parents. It's about to get deep, y'all. We're going to get into some more mindsets. We briefly touched on it just now.
I know if I stayed with Jody, that maybe Kendra and Dina might get hurt, maybe trying to help me or trying to go out or maybe see something that they didn't want to see or should not see. Like maybe him hitting me or having me down on the floor like he usually does or choking me. And I know that it's not right for no one to let their kids see nothing like it. If I go outside, I'm scared to death. because you don't never know what he's going to do. I can't go nowhere. I can't hardly sleep.
This is obvious toxicity, right? I don't have to point it out.
I mean, I don't know what he's going to do next. I am afraid for my life.
And she did the best thing by getting out of that, making that choice to leave, no matter how hard it is and how hard it's going to be. You got to make that choice. And then once that choice is made,
You gotta let me put you in there now, because you gotta get up and go to school in the morning.
this right here is a result of inconsistent discipline. A certain amount of excitability is normal, right? They got a camera in there, it's a new situation, I get all that. But the inconsistency in discipline is what's allowing it to continue.
Probably if I didn't have Kendra and Dina, I'd take him back. But Kendra and Dina...
That's dumb. That's so dumb. Like, I hate to say it like that, but I'm stepping on toes anyway, right? If you are staying in a domestic situation where anybody is putting their hands on you in an unwanted way, whether it's a man or a woman, whether you're a man or a woman, if there are hands being put on in a way that is unwanted, then that relationship needs to end today. You need to leave today. Call your mama, call your sister, call your best friend, sleep on a couch. Go somewhere else today. Do not take another day of someone disrespecting you. Period. I pray that you have somebody in your life like me. Because if you're in that situation and you're my people, you're sleeping on my couch and he ain't showing up here.
I mean, if you've got kids, that's about all that you do have. I mean, Kendra and Dina is my life. If I didn't have them, I mean, there wouldn't be no use to me being around. Because I wouldn't give them for nothing.
The that's about you, Rick.
Oh, Rick. Nothing. My dad hurt. Well, I didn't feel it.
Jody tied a curtain around Samantha and set it afire and made her stand, let it burn off of her.
Oh, God.
These are real things that really happen, right? They really do.
But she didn't tell that till after she had to go to the shelter home. Then she told him. She wrote down everything that he'd done to her that she could remember on 3 big long sheets of paper that long, about that wide. The judge had her to do it.
You know how big that boy is?
And they put him in jail.
And here a while back, I'll tell you what made her leave him. He tried to run over her in a truck. He had the 2 girls in the truck. He told her, he said, I'm going to kill you.
Up to this point, she knew about this. She knew about this. And she wasn't allowed to tell it up until this point. So now she's spilling the beans in a way that is safe and that she has permission to do now.
He tried to run over her.
She was trying to talk her sister into leaving. I think it's her sister. It might be her aunt or her cousin. I don't know. There's a lot of them.
They had him in jail a long time. And I don't know how he got out.
The police, they don't want to help me because they don't want to hardly come over in here because it's so far away. It's a little over 100 miles to come from Hazard to over here.
From the police. 100 miles from the police.
This is where we used to live at.
Honestly, that's the kind of place I want to live. Like, if they had high-speed internet and running water. Yeah, see, that man's gonna kill somebody. And for my crew, I want you to know anything like this is a major, major red flag. She worked for that couch. She worked for that couch. It was the nicest piece of furniture in there.
He had tore the Bible up and took the flowers that we had planted and threw them over the hill and left me a note on the table. He had busted the TV and the VCR and cut the couch and the chair up. I try not to let it, get to me, but it's just, he brags about what he does, and he gets by with it because he's always got by with everything he does.
That's a life of illegality. She's not wanting to get into details, but that man lives a life of crime. And if you've ever lived a life of crime, you recognize when people are talking about it.
And that's why I just can't stand it.
This is every year thing. Ever since I can remember, it's been every year.
Somewhere along the line, he's related to everybody here.
Yeah, uncles, nephews, nieces, cousins,
Second
aunts,
cousins, third cousins.
sister-in-laws, brother-in-law, kids.
Father, we come before you today. We ask you to bless this food, give you the praise and the glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Help yourself!
I try not to judge lest I be judged.
I'm watching Trouble.
Who's that?
Jody.
Irie, can you introduce us to Jody?
Jody who?
Samantha's husband.
No.
But I tried to pay her $100 not to marry him before they ever married.
This is the one that went to go get his brother out of jail. He's trying very hard to do what's right by the tribe.
I begged him. I ain't worried about it.
He's the type of guy that they show on TV that wind up killing their women, beating them to death or something.
That ain't beat the shit out of me a couple times.
I think it always makes me feel like getting a hold of it.
Makes you sick at your stomach.
It does.
Not everybody handles business the way that I do, and I understand that. But there is a 0% chance that this man is standing in that driveway while I'm sitting around talking shit. It is a 0% chance that he is in eyesight of me after laying hands on somebody and they left him. There's a 0% chance he is remaining in that driveway. Zero.
It makes you sick.
And there's a whole crew there. Like the whole family. People from out of town are there. And they're 100 miles from the law. I'm just saying. Right or wrong, say what you want. But, like, there are some things that if the law won't handle it.
Holly! Somebody, will somebody go in these to get a rag?
Fucking with me and I'm tired of it.
Will you get that damn camera out of my face?
Need a rag. Are you
He
afraid?
hit her, didn't he?
Yeah, and he spit in her face.
I seen that.
0%.
Where'd he hit you at?
He spit in my face, Daddy, pushed me in the stomach.
He spit in my face, Daddy, and he pushed me in my stomach. Daddy.
So he pushed her. And then he come up the hill running.
The spitting in my face was worser to me. If I could probably took it if he'd hit me. The spitting in my face I just couldn't take. So I'm always waiting for him to do something.
I'm always waiting on him to do something. If you're in that situation, get out today.
I told him today that's what I was doing, just waiting on him to finish me off. And he said,
Why would you speak that?
well, said that my time was coming and that I'd better watch my back. And I told him, I said, well, why don't you just go ahead and get it over with? I said, that's all you like doing anyway.
Me and Bascom works every summer, makes a big garden, and we have our food provided for winter. And enough to divide with other people too.
This is a hard-working woman, and she is doing the best by her family that she knows how to do. And it breaks my heart to not see anybody else helping her. Except for him. The one they said to just sit on his ass.
There was to be somebody hungry then and need something to eat. I'm not going to turn them away.
The story of the grasshopper and the ant comes to mind.
We never did. I don't think they ever will. This really helped keep the bugs from getting on it.
This 86-year-old woman's out there hoeing this field.
Worms.
Throwing the bug stuff. I don't know if this is 7 dust or what. It almost sounds like she's throwing Epsom salt. There's the kids. Diligence. I didn't catch his age, but I'm assuming he's around the same, right? Probably a year or two older.
I think it's the right thing to do is teach your children they have to work. If they live in this world, they'll sure have to work.
That ain't never worked nothing but his ass. All right. Let's check on time real quick, because if we're getting close to an hour, we'll go ahead and break this out. Oh, no, we still got plenty of time. Let's go. Shirley has broken off her engagement to Cliff. It's about to get dark.
I miss her and stuff, and it hurts to, think about it. I can go do stuff. I don't know. I ain't got all the shit, that I did have to worry about, but still got enough. Yeah, I loved her.
No, you didn't. You lusted her.
Screw that love stuff.
And you took what you thought was affection and you overemphasized it in your life. And then when it disappeared, it broke you. And you have no example of a positive role model to model yourself after being broken. And that's all perfectly understandable.
I mean, it's over, it's done. I don't want to think about it. Don't start fucking with me, Dad. God.
Well, what are you mad about?
Leave me alone, man.
Well, what are you mad about?
That's toxic. If you do that to your children, you're wrong. Stop it.
What's he mad about?
You know exactly what's going on. Your wife knows what's going on. You know what's going on. This little kid sitting over here, I'm assuming that's a niece. I don't think that's a daughter. I think they have 2 sons. She knows what's going on. Everybody knows what's going on. You're being a passive-aggressive dickhead.
Somebody.
I ain't done nothing to her. What's he mad about?
He broke up with Shirley.
Oh, hell with Shirley.
He broke up with her a long time ago. That was the sign.
That would be a bad mistake for him to get back with her. It really would. She has caused too much.
And maybe he didn't. Maybe he was just zoned out enough that he didn't know what's going on, despite everybody else in the holler does.
I mean, it was too much aggravation with us.
I know how he feels.
You know how it feels.
To lose a girlfriend, I've lost a boyfriend before.
A girlfriend.
I've lost a boyfriend before.
Oh, Lord.
You had a boyfriend before, and how old are you?
I don't know how.
That's a major problem with us, y'all. It is a major problem. 1, for a 9-year-old to believe they have been in a relationship, and 2, for it to actually be happening, right? For the actual things going on.
She made it.
There is a certain amount that is okay, right? It's okay to crush. It's okay to flirt. It's okay to explore those options without getting serious, without physicality being there. Physicality should be reserved for the most special of occasions. And I say that as somebody who has struggled with sexual addiction my whole life. It is one of those things that you do not realize the importance of. Like speaking things into existence, sharing your soul with someone in an intimate way is a very real thing.
We're losing it. Oh, my God.
Now, this is not that level.
They start young, don't they?
How you know if you love somebody?
I went to find out it was a kiss. That's the only way to find out.
Do you see what's wrong with our country?
Yeah.
Did you ever kiss Sean? How many kisses?
About every day.
Oh, you must have done a lot of loving. What do you mean you start trying that, Polly?
We're too old.
Passive aggression. They don't have a sexual relationship, that is obvious. His depression, his Prozac, whatever else he's taking, her anxiety, and whatever else she's got going on, they're not intimate. You can see it in their posture. You can see it in their interactions and all of those things. And this is a passive-aggressive way of trying to deal with that. Instead of being, hey, these are my needs that are not being met. It's a, Why don't we try that? While on camera, right?
We're too old to love.
That's very upsetting for him. He is not happy about the situation, right? He's not. That's why he's doing Prozac. For many, 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 many people, sex is a primary driver. And when it is absent, whether it is being held punitively, which happens in a lot of cases where you see mothers overbearing their children, or whether it's physical problems, like many women suffer from very real ailments that prevent that. There's endometriosis, there's inverted wombs or inverted uteruses, and there's all kinds of things that make it painful for a woman to have sex. And some of those things happen after marriage, and it becomes an issue later. So either way, it is still an issue of a need but not being met, and expressing it in the wrong way. And we see the manifestation of those problems in the son.
Oh, another great day in the shithole.
It's a mindset.
Ain't going over there with us? Are you going over with Johnny's?
I don't know. Mommy, I can't go nowhere.
Why?
I'm broke. You can't go places without money, Mom.
Well, you have to have money to go to somebody's house for it.
You know the answer to that. He knows the answer to that. You know you're not going to get the answer to that.
You have to have money to go do stuff, Mom. You don't want to go. It'd be the same thing if I didn't have money. I'd go there and sit. When I could sit here and sit. You want to eat, don't you? I have to have backer.
But do you, though?
I ain't getting on that point with you.
Well,
a big argument over that.
Why would we get in a big fucking argument over that?
Because.
See that escalation right there, too. That is an unacceptable form of expression. And I cuss a lot. I try not to cuss at people to a large extent. It doesn't always work. But that escalation right there, she said that'll be a big argument. Why would that be a big fucking argument? That is an escalation of force. That is him getting ready to rage about something.
Why don't you go find you a little job somewhere?
Bull fucking shit!
I know we would. You can't rely on people to give you money.
I ain't asking no motherfucking body to give me money.
Well, you keep asking.
I didn't ask nobody.
You gotta have money every time you do.
I didn't ask you for a goddamn penny.
That's some rather yellow water right there. Rather yellow water coming out of that tap.
Go get your little job somewhere, but you gotta walk your motherfucking ass to get it.
You fucking walk your little ass to go get it then. Mama's in a tough spot, right? What do you do? What do you do? You walk your little ass to go get there. That is not how you throw a punch. Like, first off, that is terrible bag placement because there's nowheres in the vicinity that you're going to be able to get a proper foot placement. So that is terrible bags placement. You have plenty of room to go hang that bag somewhere where it'll actually be able to work around it. right, we're at another break point. And this is going to be a good place to stop because we got about 20 minutes left, so we got one more segment on the other side of this. We're coming up on an hour. That's about the length of attention span. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. I know there was some toes stepped on there. There are things that hard truths need to be said about things. And if I got to be the one to say them, then so be it. Abusive relationships are never acceptable, right? But you can't pull someone else out of an abusive relationship. I mean, you can if you want to deal with the fallback and the karmic blowback from doing things that probably need to be done in some cases. then you can do that. Like, you can make things disappear. It happens all the time. Most people get caught when they do that, so it's not a very good option. The best option is to leave. But it's stepping on someone's toes just to tell them to leave because they really think that there's love involved. There's not. If somebody's putting their hands on you like that, there's no love in that. It is not an emotion to that. Like, that is not even an emotion that they can deal with. Because before you can love, you have to get past anger. You have to get past it in order to be able to love anyone, yourself or anyone after that. Because you can't really love anyone until you work through loving yourself. Not even your mama or your daddy. That is not real love. You don't appreciate what they are doing for you until you have come to love yourself. That is the most important step that you can take, is to figure out how to love yourself. But these toes, they need to be stepped on. People need to realize that these problems are not a demographic. They are across demographics. The same issues that this rural Appalachian family is dealing with, you can find in an affluent suburb of a major city. You can find the same passive-aggressive abuse. You can find the same physical abuse. You can find the same chemical abuse. You can find all of the same abuses in the same, like, across all demographics. There is no exemption to bad things. You can only control your sphere of influence. That's what I try to do. I've raised good kids. That's my sphere of influence. They will have a sphere of influence, and together we have a lot of power. We can change people. As a crew, we can change people, but we cannot change people if we deny that there are actual issues. That's why I've never denied the actual issues, because there are actual issues. There is still racism. There is still sexism, but it is not systemically involved in the way that a lot of people want it to be, because then they have someone to blame their slothfulness on. They have someone to blame their gluttony on. The other. You can't blame that on the other. That is on you. Because even in this rural place, there are opportunities for more. You have to seek them out. You have to find them. And sometimes it takes someone telling you, hey, wake the fuck up, for you to wake up. Because you won't on your own. You won't see an opportunity. Some people literally cannot see new possibilities if they're not pointed out. That's how the stack is built. That is the kind of issues that I want to work around. I see this video, and what I want to do is to go to the hollow and be like, all right, look, let's get y'all a gig going and show them how to do things. But you can't do that for everyone. Not everybody wants a solution to things. Some people just want to bitch about it. That's a mindset. We're here to change mindsets. We're shifting paradigms. That's what we do here. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me. We got one more segment coming up, y'all. So hopefully we can get this wrapped up. It's getting continuously darker, and it's going to wrap up probably with the worst little bit at all, but the best examples that we're going to get. So we're going to do that in just a little bit. Thanks for hanging out. I'm praying for you every single day. Until next time, this has been pittstake. Peace.